Yo, what's going on? It's that guy. Today's video, Cosmo Pyke, has been highly requested here on the Dread line, and you can see why. Because of his freeform locks, this guy being a singer-songwriter of a pretty unique voice, his locks looking quite legendary themselves because they are the free form. You can tell this from the frizziness on the top and the congos that have been happening along the sides and amongst many of the dreads. I'm really feeling the style he's got going with these locks, very Marley-like. You can see that the sun is actually dyeing a lot of the dreads to a lighter brown compared to the new growth. Almost reminding me of a mop top. His dreads have like a parting in the top of his head that's rather unique at most. And it goes to show you don't always need to have a perfectly parted set of locks down the middle or the frontal lobe of your area. Looking at his dreads here, you can see that some of his tips are in the fingertip like dread, but there's never a direct glance at his scalp, meaning there's no sectioning, no parting in these dreadlocks. Doing his model-ting, his locks modeling, even a little bit of a flat look to them, I've noticed. And if dude here was to keep on letting his hair grow out and not sectioning them and not parting them, he's gonna have some locks real similar to Bob Marley in no time. It seems that some of his dreads are thinning at parts, but other parts they're congoing up and making stronger locks. His roots being very matted and very frizzy. I would hope to see more congos happening here for sure. Now, to attain dreads like Cosmo Pyke here, you're going to want to let your hair just nap up on its own. A good wash and go is a quick method to get locks like this started. I mean, if you have this hair texture, a lot of the times a dread sponge is the best way and the best route to make the dreads kind of nub up and start locking. But alternatively, you don't really need any of that, and just let your hair go and form up after a nice cold water rinse and wash of your locks. Cold water helps to accelerate the dreadlocking process and the curl formations in the patterns of your own hair. I was actually quite surprised at the sound of Cosmo Pyke's music. It threw me totally off guard, which is why he won me over with that uniqueness of his sound for sure. So I'll definitely be listening for life and checking in on his dreadlock journey for the future. So if you haven't seen his locks or his music already, go and check him out. Links in the description. And looking at his locks at this point, again, we see that there are some congos happening even at the frontal part of his dreads, where two dreads are becoming one, and some of his locks at the tips are almost bleach blonde, even though I know they weren't bleached. It's more of a sun-dyed thing. Laying on the ground with his dreads up, we can see that the tips again starting to lose the darker colors in his locks compared to the roots. And it's shots like these that we can really tell that his locks are definitely freeform, because none of the locks are of similarities at all. Like, none are exactly the same twisted, none are exactly the same interlocked. A lot of them are very different. Some are flat, some are really crinkly, some are dragon-tailed, some are fish-tailed, and what have you. So it's really cool to see a set of locks like this out in the music game these days. And his locks are actually catching garbage. This is a pretty funny picture to see, because it shows that you know, his locks are endangered, and we should always cut our plastic products when we're putting them in the recycling bins to make sure we don't catch dreadlocks out in the wild. Ending this dread review with this photo, and we can see the new growth kind of clumping together to make even bigger dreads and bigger congos at the end of the day. So this journey definitely one worth checking out. I'll see you guys over on Snapchat and Instagram, and I'll definitely hit you up on YouTube in the future. So peace out, one love, brethren and sisters.
And now I'm supposed to tell you all them times and them plays